Good morning. Let's take a look at yesterday. Any that I picked out, any that you picked out. A late win for Fat Frank. There's quite a few nil-nils yesterday. It was tempting to take on. I would have taken that Derby Oxford on, given the relegation six-pointer element of this match. Members will know, best way to keep your liability low is a 109, 106. If you don't know what I'm talking about, well, come along and join Football Trading Profits, clicking on the link there at the website, or the free Betfair Trading Made Easy course with your free Premier League research. But it's going to be a toughie today. Premier League, it's a derby. You know how much I love derbies. Elsewhere, well, Leeds, nothing can compare to them. Norwich and Preston, insurance saves the day again. That was the lesson from the weekend. Insurance. Got you out of here with a break even. English League One, English League Two, really strong in-play stats element. Charlton, I told members on Telegram, lay that draw second half. You'd have better cashed out, particularly with that gift.
This market is now in play.
That red card as well. They were utterly dominant, Charlton, utterly dominant first half. In-play stats are a key element to trading success. Look at that, one-way traffic. So second half, you hope the momentum continues, which indeed it did, and you get a cherry on top with Fernandes getting red carded. Then you've got to cash out. You've got to. No excuses. Lock it in, because that could have turned out to be 1-1 and you'd have been in all sorts of bother. You can't legislate for penalties for 10 men. Gillespie would have got you out of jail, or for those with a lisp, Gillespie.
This market has been suspended.
So that was an obvious play yesterday. Red cards can change games, but in-play stats can also add confidence. Exeter and Nottingham Forest. Well, I hope you cashed out by half time. I did mention this one. If you were to do it, take insurance. Rangers losing 1-0 at 1.04. Unprecedented. Liverpool losing 1-0 at 1.17. Nottingham Forest 1.38. So it's a 1-0 lead for Exeter, 1-2 by half time. Get out, lock it in. That afterwards doesn't matter. Chris Wood coming on very late for a Wonyi, probably for the extra time, or indeed penalties. So a good result, but clearly Forest, it's not a priority. You saw the multiple team changes for them. English Professional Development League, over 2.5 goals in the bag, but it's always factored in. So you have to be a little bit creative. By Delane, Champions League. Well, I kind of called this. I did say this was going to be a bit like the Manchester City Paris Saint-Germain Champions League match. That ended 2-2. Should have really taken on Man City. I was waiting for a 2-0 lead for Man City before taking them on. But it was a little hard to imagine this was going to end 1-0. So in hindsight, should have really taken on that 1-0 lead. Dortmund were imperious yesterday, keeping all their good work for the Champions League because they were a bit wobbly domestically. And in League Two, we might have a new idea for laying the draw second half. Look at the shortest priced team, 0-0 at half time. If they score first, the draw odds are going to rise markedly, and then you get out. Again, locking it in will save you from any late heartache. Not much doing in English League Two yesterday. It has to be strongly in-play stats biased, this one. So it was an okay night last night. Let's have a look onto today, and it's a Merseyside derby. And not only that, new manager as well for Everton, scoring 3 goals regularly. and before half-time. So I think 1.42 is a little dismissive of this Liverpool side, of this Everton side, really. 7.5 at home under new management, who are scoring freely. As ever with a derby, I'm highly unlikely to be playing this unless it's something like a 2-0 lead for Everton. Go to the head-to-heads and have a look at their recent goal-scoring exploits. 3 against Tottenham, 4 against Leicester. At home, under Moyes, looking a lot more comfortable, aren't they? But that's probably going to be something we'll look at today against one of the better sides, are likely to struggle. That was the FA Cup, so don't ignore that completely. Liverpool away from home. Well, that famous defeat to Plymouth. Losing to PSV as well in the Champions League. But domestically, clean sheet wins to 0. Sorry, they're going to be wins to 0, aren't they? Because they're clean sheets. But 2-goal clean sheet wins against Bournemouth and Brentford. It's all sorts of muddling form involved, particularly with the new manager element. English Championship, I've done all the research for members of Football Trading Profits. Odds on favourites is where I'm going to start with that this evening. Bristol City, Burnley, Sunderland and West Brom. Just be careful with Burnley. Touch of 0-0-itis. It's a worrying pattern. It really is. 0-0, 0-0, 0-0, 0-0, 0-0. This could cost them automatic promotion. When they do score, I think one of these recent goals was an own goal as well. Look, Hellick own goal. So there is problems up front for Burnley. Problems up front. Edwards scoring. That's probably Southampton not keen on a title run. So watch out for Burnley. If it's 0-0 at half-time, I would be very cautious about taking that 0-0 on second half. But Hull City will need to channel what they did against Sheffield United, that 3-goal win away from home, to save their season. Don't forget to just check the standings. You'll get some motivating factors from the standings. Bristol City and Stoke. Bristol City mid-table, no, 10th. They are 3 points away from a playoff place. So that's plenty of motivator there. Stoke City, well, they're 3 points above the relegation zone. They're safe enough. It's not a big buffer, though, is it? 3 points, just take them up a couple of places. Burnley, as we know, those 0-0s are costing them dearly. They're losing a grip of the top 2 automatic promotion spots. You don't want to be in this heartache of playoffs. You want to be automatically promoted. If they could turn a few of those 0-0s into wins, life would be good, wouldn't it, for Burnley? Hull City, you can see that win against Sheffield United. Take 3 points away from that, they'd be near bottom. So that's the kind of giant killing we might see this evening. Followed it up with a loss against Stoke, which was a pity. But who knows? Against Burnley, a side who don't score that often, they do struggle. Plymouth is likely to be a bit of a fallback after that win against Liverpool. But they also beat West Brom at home, Plymouth. Again, 3 points, vital. Takes them to 28. And will keep Derby interested in the relegation dogfight with 2 consecutive draws now for Derby. Couldn't score yesterday. I would have done a 106, 109 in that match because of the need for a win. They were playing... No, we can't get that. Let's have a look. They were playing Oxford, who were also, well, near enough. Oxford motivated to move into the 40-plus point barrier. So this is where this becomes important now, this season. February to April, you need to see where the teams are and look for motivating factors. Sunderland can break into the 60-point barrier with a win today. Have home advantage and are playing Luton Town. who are, well, will break into the 30-point barrier, vitally important 30-point barrier for the relegation dogfight sides. Got to take advantage of Derby dropping 2 points yesterday. They were dominating their match, Derby, but they couldn't get the 3 points. So fascinating set of fixtures. Swansea. The Swans are against Sheffield Wednesday. Where are the Swans? Bit too near relegation zone, but safe enough. But break into that important 40-point barrier with a win today. Sheffield Wednesday, well, up to 45 with a win today. Could be on the cusp for promotion playoff place. So lots of motivating factors. Sheffield United, we know very well, 64 points, will stay second with a win today. Or a draw will stay second. Automatic promotion. Their squabble, Sheffield United, is against Burnley and Sunderland, basically, isn't it? Got to keep these two at bay. Middlesbrough on the cusp of a playoff place will go up to 47 with a win today. 2.25 the favourite. West Brom happily ensconced in 5th place, but can break into the 50-point barrier. Only 4 other teams have done that this season with a win. And Blackburn, where are Blackburn? They're just on the edge of the playoffs. They've got Middlesbrough to worry about, Coventry to worry about. Got that win yesterday. Norwich to worry about as well. Norwich going through a bit of a wobble. That 0-1 to Preston yesterday. We did play. We did get an insurance payout. And a disappointing late concession to Derby when leading 1-0. They can't do this 1-0-itis. It doesn't work, does it, when you're conceding goals? So fascinating fixtures in what is going to be a competitive championship this evening. Professional Development League, well, you saw all that yesterday. Goals galore. You could even go 4.5, 5.5 goals if you fancied it. Champions League playoffs, got to be watched, I'm afraid. I can't give you any angles at all. I think Bayern Munich might be a little vulnerable at 1.38. I don't think it's going to be as emphatic as 1.3 Paris Saint-Germain yesterday against Brest early on. I think the boys at home and Vincent Kompany, not really the kind of manager I would have expected a side like Bayern Munich to put in. Strange, that one. So I think that's a little bit too short for me, 1.38. The boys at home, with that huge support, could see something come out of this. But the other matches are typical Champions League affairs, 2.1, 2.3, 2.2. In-play stats or not at all. I couldn't get any handles apart from the Man City match, but I should have taken on the Man City lead. I was waiting for a 2-0 lead for Man City. It would have been very strange indeed, wouldn't it, not to expect Real Madrid to get on the score sheet. Do we have any lower tier football like we did yesterday in England? Not really. No. So that's it for this evening. The Youth League. Not much to mention about that. It's just a carbon copy, isn't it, of what's happening with the major leagues. So that's it today. This is Soccer 24. It's got all the list of the matches being played today. And for those of you who were at the live stream on Saturday or Sunday, we're trying to suss out a 0-0 at half-time strategy. I've started to make notes of how I would select potentials, i.e. if you're looking to back 0-0 at half-time, you're looking for the teams with the lowest draw, aren't you, in the match odds? You're probably the teams with the lowest 0-0 odds. That would be an option, wouldn't it? Rather than researching teams with the lowest 0-0, that would make sense because oftentimes the market does get it right. So you're looking at 0-0s, something around 12s or lower. Just guesswork, but if we can put together some bet and go strategies for you, we can complement the in-play betting with a bet and go that you can have running on the side. So with that in mind, I'm putting together a football testing lab at Football Trading Profits. In the members area, we'll have a football testing lab where I'll be testing out ideas. And I've got stuff like the staking machine, which I need to download again with my newly reconfigured computer. So that's something for me to remind myself about. The staking machine is an excellent bit of kit. It will analyze anything through a number of backing and laying staking plans. It really is a superb bit of kit. I'm not an affiliate or anything. I was buying this when it was 97 quid. That's how good it was. So I'll have to get back to the owner and tell him I was recently hacked and I need to have it back, because this could be the solution. The staking plan for the 0-0 at half time at the moment is a Fibonacci. The Fibonacci sequence, 1, 1, 2, add up prior numbers, as you can see. 5 and 3 is 8, 8 and 5 is 13. I don't know how long the sequence would go on for. But they were advertising profits to £100. Now, that in real terms, once you're getting up here, you add a couple of zeros to that, £2,100 for your stake. Don't make no sense, does it? So in realistic terms, you're probably going to have to stick to a tenner or 20 or 30 pound. But the staking machine, once I've started collating my selections, for example, today, there wouldn't be anything in the Premier League because we haven't got anything to work with. But the Championship, the lowest draw, Plymouth and Millwall. That could be a potential selection. Would you agree? If the draw odds are at their lowest, then 0-0 is a draw, isn't it? We know Plymouth coming off the back of that 0-0. We know Millwall late goal scorers. Of course, research would be far better in doing these 0-0 selections, but we want to be able to start at the beginning of a season. So that way, it's the odds. My other thoughts, if you're looking to back 0-0 at half time, first half odds for the draw, look at the team with the shortest draw. It seems to be odds on, doesn't it, with Plymouth and Millwall. So look through all of these matches for the teams with the shortest draw in the first half. That could be an option. Over and under 2.5 goals, you're looking at the lowest or shortest 2.5 goals. That's overs is pretty high. Now, you're not looking for the shortest, are you? You're looking for the biggest odds for over 2.5 goals, aren't you? You're looking for the biggest odds for 2.5 goals because you don't want 2.5 goals to occur. You want a 0-0 at half time. So those are ideas. If anyone's got any ideas how you would create or back or find a selection, it looks to be one selection per league. How would you look for a 0-0 at half time without researching? Soccer Stats, of course, will have all of the details, but the caveat, without researching. How would you pick out a selection which has a high likelihood of having a 0-0 at half-time? You can do it in the Champions League as well. So the shortest odds there would be Club Brugge and Atalanta. First half goals, you go to the odds section here. It's likely to be mirrored on Betfair. First half, 2.1. So we would prefer odds on, wouldn't we, about the draw? So check through Celtic and Bayern. Well, it's difficult to expect this to end 0-0, isn't it? So the first half up to 2.75. So that's not good, is it? High likelihood with an odds on favourite in the first half market that we're not going to be seeing a 0-0 at half time. So have a think. If you've got any ideas, post them in the comments. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe to youtube.com/@footballtradingprofits. We had 2 live streams on Saturday and Sunday. Plenty to learn. What you learnt on Saturday and Sunday was all about Insurance. This was the Sunday coupon. Sunday live stream, 3 hours worth. So you're getting your money's worth when I do a free one. Nice to see so many views as well. Delighted with the views, and indeed lots of members chipping in with valuable information, particularly the Rangers information from Bosun. All bar 2 regular first teamers against Queen's Park playing. That 105 should have been laid to the hilt, shouldn't it? Have a great day. I will see members of Football Trading Profits probably from 5:45, although this isn't as clear cut as Brest v PSG yesterday. English Championship looks very appealing this evening. It's going to be very competitive. Lots and lots and lots to play for. So hopefully lots of draws to be got or to be laid second half. We've got specific lay the draw strategy as well. If you attend live streams, you'll find out about that. So have a great day. I will see you around 5:45. Probably going to be a little quiet with the Merseyside derby, given the new manager syndrome as well. But I think that's far too short. Very dismissive of what Moyes has done at Everton. He's unlocked that forward line, hasn't he? Have a great day, and I'll see you later on at footballtradingprofits.com's Telegram channel.